Well, hi. I think Charlotte is meta now. And by now, I mean, like, for now. We're talking maybe for 15-ish days. I don't know. However long the current Stygian Onslaught is. We'll get into it. But before I get into, like, a whole yap and explanation for why I think Charlotte is meta for now, we're just going to get straight into... I'm going to do a direct comparison. We're going to compare Charlotte, you know, Farina, Escoffier, Skirk. That's Skirk's best team with the flex slot on the last slot. So I'm going to compare her to Shenhe in the last slot of this team. Skirk is C0. The build will be Finale of the Deep on her signature weapon. This is the overall build. I am not going to change any artifacts between any of the runs here. Farina is on Tenacity. Not a very good Tenacity build, but, you know, she gets her energy back, and that's all she needs. And that is not correct. There we go. That's fixed, although kind of not fixed. So part of what makes Charlotte meta right now, and this is actually something that makes Charlotte more compelling even after 14 days when Stygian Onslaught changes, but that is that you can do a build on Escoffier that doesn't need to burst every rotation, and that is pretty valuable because having to burst every rotation on Escoffier can be really annoying, and for a lot of people it might be a lot easier to just, you know, put a whole bunch of crit substats and not have to reach whatever amount of ER you need, especially with like the awkward 0 ER start, yada yada, although you know, the boss does generate energy. You're already getting distracted yapping. I wanted to just showcase things. Point is, the Escoffier build will change when I play with Shenhe, because we need her to heal for Farina, right? All that's going to change, though, on her is I'm going to change to Skyward Spine instead of Staff of Homa. Her damage actually doesn't crazily change, but I'm going to do that just so she can burst every rotation. No, I'm not going to do a bunch of retakes here or anything. I'm just going to try to do the same-ish gameplay. As long as I feel like I don't play really well on one team and really terribly on the other team, this should be relatively obvious. You should see a difference. No Shupa yet, unfortunately. I did not mean to charge back there. That's fine. Do this while I wait for Farina's skill cooldown. Do you, Shupa! And... okay, good. We got the white tails. Darn it. It's the last N5. Oh well. Not the end of the world. That was dumb. I meant to switch to Charlotte. Okay. That was just a waste of time doing that on the Escoffier there. But, anyways. Okay. Shupa! Yes, I know it's Truth Bomb now. I wish I didn't know. I still hear Shupa most of the time. I sometimes hear Truth Bomb. But it's still Shupa. You can't tell me. It's not. Oh. Okay. Well, I said I wasn't going to reset, but... I you know, I just shut up and focus a little bit. Terrible. Alright, do that. Do this. Wasting time a little bit. Okay. Relay tails, put it around. We'll talk about the no relay tails issue. Don't you worry. That was bad. That was really bad. Really, really bad. I usually burst on Escoffier here because you have to wait for this thing doing its thing anyways. So it's like, well, may as well. Alright. Okay, that wasn't perfect by any means. A lot of mistakes there. But second attempt, and that's kind of my general vibe, is I can get in the neighborhood of 105 second clears with Charlotte pretty consistently. Now let me show you Shenhe. And again, I don't think I'm a perfect player. Most players are, you know, playing Skirk perfectly with perfect dash cancels and the optimal combos, right? I feel like some people might have the impression that Skirk is actually an easier character to play optimally than she is. Ah, crap. I did, I forgot to change the weapon of Scopier. Well, oh, I did a tap skill there. Oh my god, stupid mistakes. Like, technically it would have been fine there, that rotation, but then the next rotation would have had not enough energy for sure. Alright, just real rotation, bam. Real skill. I don't know why I'm walking around like a bozo, it's fine. So the first rotations are definitely stronger than Charlotte, in my experience with Shenhe. Yeah, that was fine, okay. Okay, good, we have energy properly. Bam. Bam. Okay. Dang it. Oh, bad. Didn't get the absorption at the end, which does matter, but it shouldn't matter for the purpose of what we're demonstrating here today. Not getting Shenhe's energy up is unfortunate. I think she might not have triggered Fab last time. Yes, I maybe should have tried to start this earlier. Bam. Okay. Because it's not obvious. We are... I think we're going to kill it. Like, I think I made more gameplay mistakes here with Shenhe than I did with... Oh, crap. Crap. Hold, please. Please? Oh, I'm gonna fail. Crap. Okay. Honestly, I did not intend to fail there. My intention was to succeed. At my investment level, that should have been a success. That was gameplay mistakes that caused the failure. But did you notice the difference, right? So what happens here is that this boss has its, you know, mechanic where you want to do a bunch of cryo hits to reduce its gauge, and once its gauge is under 10%, its resistance falls for all elements, but in particular, cryo resistance falls to negative 30%. Before going under that 10% on the gauge meter, you know, your damage you're doing to it with your Skirk is a lot lower. So there was a number of rotations there where it took a bunch of hits from Skirk before the meter got under 10%, and that is why, like, there is some build-up time required. And there's ways around this. Like, you can rotate differently, you can do extra charge attacks, but it also changes when you absorb things. Like, my point is, like, despite playing Skirk quite a lot, I have not gotten the intuition for how to play her with Shenhe. Charlotte essentially trivializes this enemy's mechanics, and that is why I say Charlotte is meta right now. Because I think for most players, if you are in a situation where, like, you're struggling with difficulty 5 or difficulty 6, when, like, your Shenhe Skirk team is not quite getting you here, but you feel like you could be able to do it, but you just don't quite have it, you could consider, unironically, you could consider using Charlotte, and it might get you to the point of clearing, right? Goose is on the loose, bam. Okay, should have this time. So I'm, in case it's not obvious, I'm mostly trying to do the same combo with Shenhe as I was doing with Charlotte. And like I said, I think... Ah, crap. Am I gonna fail again? Oh my god. like, part of the problem here is oh my god, well, part of the problem is me. I want to emphasize that. But, like, I find it so much easier. And I've, like, tried to do this many times. I've tried adapting to using Shenhe. I just find it so much easier to get consistent clears with Charlotte versus 5-star options like Mualani on Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers and Scroll. See, Lolly has a problem of this boss goes into the Night Soul mode, and that's really annoying. And then Charlotte just kind of fixes all the problems of the consistency and then makes it much more enjoyable for me to optimize my combos in my experience. I also, to be clear though, have my bias against teams that have a lot of 5-star animations. So the fact that Charlotte enables a Escoffier to not have to burst and we don't have a 5-star animation we get stuck into with Charlotte, that just makes the team feel a lot better to me. So I'm biased in that way. I want to declare that. I also like Charlotte too, but I also like Shenhe a lot. Like I am actually a little bit conflicted about the fact that I ended up liking Charlotte more in this Skirk team more than Shenhe, because I wanted Shenhe to feel like one of my favorite options, and I think Shenhe against different enemies and future Stygian Onslaughts might feel like one of my favorite options. But I think you can get the point, right? Like, I wasn't playing so fundamentally differently. Like, I both of them have their flaws in their gameplay, but there was a very large difference for the actual functional damage output I was getting. And again, it's just because of this enemy's mechanic. And this is all just because Charlotte, when she casts her burst, poops a bunch of cryo on the enemy really quickly, which gets the meter down really fast, and then that means I can immediately start doing damage on Skirk instead of having to wait a little bit or do charge attacks or whatever annoying things that you have to do with Shenhe or other units in the last slot of the team. That's all it really is. Other than that, though, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, 48% attack buff, and then Noblesse, so you get 68% attack. In the pinned comment and description, I think I will include some footage of one of my viewers. They cleared with Skirk C0 on Finale of the Deep at dire difficulty, with Escoffier C0 on Homa, I believe, like I was using, but then also a Farina C0 rather than a Farina C2. So if you go and watch that, they will look very similar to you, like more similar than they did when I was playing Charlotte versus Shenhe here. And that's because I think they're a better player than me. I think the better player you are, the more you might lean towards someone like Shenhe over Charlotte against this specific enemy. In future contexts, Charlotte may likely be beaten out by Mualani, or by Shenhe, or by Dahlia, or by Mika because of Mika's attack speed buff. But ultimately, Genshin, like, what characters are meta changes based on what exact content is available, right? There's no permanent, always this enemy is available. Abyss changes, Stygian Onslaught's going to change constantly. What is actually meta is dependent on the enemies and the mechanics and what is there at a given time. So that's kind of my point in how, like, yeah, Charlotte is meta for now. You might be like, oh, I don't want to level up a character just for this one enemy. And, like, yeah, I agree. You don't need the rewards that badly, but I like how this plays in general, that I'm comfortable recommending it. I'm certainly going to be testing against future enemies if I still end up preferring Charlotte, because Charlotte might also be better for shield breaking, for example. One thing I noticed with Charlotte in the previous Abyss cycle is that Charlotte was also my preferred last slot in a Skirk team, even though it was highly unnecessary there because the DPS check is so much lower. But I still preferred it because the Abyss had the Seahorse and the Electro Elector, and those enemies, right, had really annoying Electro shields to get through. And Charlotte's front-loaded cryo application and being a Catalyst user was enough extra cryo really quickly that I noticed meaningfully better and more consistent clears. It was just more pleasing to play against with Charlotte rather than, you know, using the other characters that were compelling. And this is just a case of, like, how spreadsheet impact. Sorry, Mr. Zajef. This whole video probably is going to annoy Zajef. But it's fine. Don't worry, Mr. Zajef. Here, I'll talk to you directly, sir. I will go over her downsides, okay? You may not be aware that maybe for your account and your playstyle, Charlotte might be the best last slot for your Skirk team, just like I found she was. Like, enough so that I can say she's meta for now. So, end of video. Now the downsides. I have C4 Charlotte. This refunds 10 energy for Charlotte, and that matters. Why? Because her energy needs are really annoying, and you ideally want to use Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers on her. Charlotte's other constellations, by the way, basically just increase her healing. That's all they really do. I have her talent level 9, and I actually have tested her with a level 40 Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, where she has a lot lower attack, and even with like 400 less attack, she still heals enough without a problem. So I'm very confident a Charlotte with out constellations can still heal enough to, be compelling as your healer for Frina. It's just going to take more investment into your talent levels and whatever. The bigger problem, though, is, again, C4, reducing her energy needs. The amount of energy I have on her right now should be enough for a non-C4 Charlotte. So you can see 2 ER rolls here, 3 ER rolls there, ER timepiece, of course. I believe that's 4, or is it 3 high rolls? That is 4. And this is 5 ER rolls, right? This is a lot of ER substats. With that said, you can get away with lower with a non-C4 Charlotte if you put Escofia on Fab. Almost always in this team context, because you're not bursting on Escofia, you do Escofia skill, and then you funnel the particles just naturally by switching to Charlotte next. This amount of ER is about what I would say the worst case scenario is, with no extra Fab being funneled. If you do have a C4 Charlotte, by the way, her energy needs are around the 200 energy recharge range, which is way, way easier to get to with her with, just ER timepiece, and then you need like 50% in ER subsets, which is not a small amount, but it's way easier to get in the 230. It's a lot harder to strongly recommend Charlotte because of how much more annoying it might be to build her and how much more investment it requires. If you have C4, I think you could have a level 60 Charlotte, and you probably are fine. The other problem I want to mention, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, it says when switching new characters, so we switch from Charlotte into Skirk, and that gives 48% attack to Skirk. Attack is really, really good for Skirk, and this buff lasts 10 seconds. That is most of Skirk's damage uptime, and this effect can occur only once every 20 seconds. And hey, if you go look at Charlotte's burst uptime, 20-second cooldown. So if you're doing, consistent rotations where you're bursting every rotation on Charlotte, aka every 20 seconds, you switch to Skirk, you should just always get the Thrilling Tales buff, right? Unfortunately, what I have found is there seems to be some kind of server check, or the cooldown for Thrilling Tales starts at a weird time. Functionally, in practice, I would say the Thrilling Tales buff here has a 21 or 22 second cooldown, and I think it might vary a little bit based on your ping, although I'm not 100% sure of that. It's really dumb that this is the case, in my opinion. I think miHoYo should fix this crap. I am of the opinion that this is a bug. I don't think it makes any sense at all, the fact that Charlotte has a 20-second burst cooldown, and if I am rotating fast, which is usually implies I'm trying to optimize my play, I'm playing well. The better I'm playing, the more likely it is I have rotations where Thrilling Tales will just be not up for one of the rotations. And despite that, with how much Charlotte helps with her burst, Chupa against this enemy, reducing the cryo gauge, even without getting the Thrilling Tales buff, I still find it better for, again, how I'm playing. And that is going to be a problem, I think, in the future, where not getting the Thrilling Tales buff consistently is going to make Charlotte not my preferred option against enemies in the future. Well, you know what? I guess before I end the video, I should go do a quick run comparing Charlotte and Shenhe in Abyss. Since we're going to Abyss, though, I think I will use Finale of the Deep instead. There we go. Finale build. Alright, let's see. We should be able to rotate this, I think. We'll see. Bap. Bap. Yeah, no problem. Okay, chamber 1 with Shenhe. Let's see. Bap. The meter is a lot easier to lower, by the way, in Abyss, and this is the same with difficulty 4 of Stygian, but difficulty 5 and 6 are a little different. It does feel like I'm doing... Yeah, it's the same. Never mind. Might be able to one-rotate this chamber too. Well, maybe a little harder if we get knocked back. Hold that power. Nope. Close. Maybe you could optimize around it, but did not. Crap. Okay, well, I don't know why I didn't just... Whatever. Doesn't matter. I think Shenhe's going to be pretty similar there. Alright, let's see if she can do better in Chamber 2, or is it basically just the same again? I just did cooking. That's not what I meant to do, but I guess while in Rome, may as well do some cooking. Wow. That Shenhe burst will cover the new enemy that spawned? Okay. That's definitely better at the start. That's what I mentioned before in staging, where like Shenhe is better for the start of the rotation for sure. Which I think means like for speedrunning clear, she might be better just in general. But in this instance, it wasn't really better enough to meaningfully increase the clear time. Alright, chamber 3, we target the Geo one, and we get it frozen first, bam. Okay, and bam, do this, Chupa. Can we get to the shield? Yes, we can. Alright, finish the rotation. With signature weapon, I can actually kill in one rotation. Oh no, I can't do it in one rotation with a 4-star weapon that's craftable. Woe is me. I don't even think we can burst here on Shenhe because of the, well, no, we probably... Does it matter? I don't know, let's do it. Why not? Alright, vamp. Okay, it takes less time to kill that. Oh, frick. Really? I don't know if that's my fault or if that's Shenhe's fault. It might be Shenhe's fault. Okay, let's just skip the shield, or skip the shield. Let's just skip the burst on Shenhe this time. And I think that's all we need to do. If we skip Shenhe burst though, it feels like mostly the same as Charlotte. Oh my god, you still got your shield. I died! Okay, well, as of attempt number 2, I do kind of feel like Charlotte is just better in this Abyss Chamber, and now I was yapping and being dumb. This is just one of those classic cases of, like, having too many 5-star burst animations in a team can just make it situationally worse than having less 5-star burst animations, right? Even if the buffs are higher. I think I didn't source some of those drifts. Ah, frick me. Like it's so much more annoying to optimize this with Shenhe. Is it like, hopefully that's obvious. And the point is not that I like can't clear with this team. Obviously, this team is way more than strong enough to clear it. But like Shen is a 5-star character compared to a 4-star character that many people just got when going for Freena. So like, okay. Surely, we got. Why? Bro, I cannot get through this shield. Oh, I mean, yeah, I got it through there, but Charlotte enabled me to get through the white shield on both of them, right? That's my goal of comparison. Genuinely having kind of a crash out that, like, Shenhe feels so much worse here. She shouldn't... I didn't think she was going to feel this much worse with this chamber. I thought, oh, why did I do that? Whatever. You know, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Look at the upsides. We kill this faster. Okay, get over here. Nope. No, yeah, we can't use the burst. We can't use the burst. How are you not dead? No, we're not gonna get there. We're gonna run out of next soul points. No. I caught this on the first try with Charlotte. I can't do it with... I swear I'm not throwing on purpose to make Shenhe look worse. I like Shenhe as a character. I have her Echo. I've been using her. Shenhe is my favorite with Skirk, by the way, for Sunfire Skirk with Bennett and Jean. That's off topic. Probably gonna make a video about that team too, but not right now. I do like Shenhe. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus, but like... Can I switch? Oh, what? Okay, that was skill issue. Please, please, we can do it. It's fine. It's fine that Shenhe is slightly worse than Charlotte in this chamber. I just, like, And this is just because of the fact that we're having to spend extra time in the burst animation with Escoffier that we don't have to spend with Charlotte, primarily. I'm glad we have this as a context so I can be like, yeah, you know, that matters. I thought that was it. Like, the clear time at the end of the day is not going to be that different. Shenhe, I would say, is mostly equivalent here. I just thought of a new strat. That was not the strat. It worked. The strat worked. The most micro of micro optimizations. I feel like there's a lot of you that probably didn't even notice what I did. That's fine. Shenhe can do it. Shenhe is equivalent, kind of, not really, but kind of equivalent. Shenhe can do the same thing as Charlotte can in this chamber. So technically that means it was a skill issue the whole time. All I did was try to save a tiny amount of time by precasting Scopier's skill. That's all I did. That's all it was. See if I can do it again 2 times in a row. Oh, I forgot to... Yeah, I can do it 2 times. Oh, well, okay. That was due to the mistake of when I didn't press her first. It's fine. Close enough. That definitely makes it more consistent. It's a very, very minor time save, but like Shenhe kind of needed that very minor time save. Charlotte didn't need the minor time save for what it's worth, though. So, like, I think Charlotte is still better in this chamber, but oh well. So, Charlotte may literally only be meta for now, but she is meta right now. Maybe you disagree because you hate Charlotte and you really love a 5-star. Maybe you disagree because here's a Jeff and you live in the spreadsheets, and that's fine too. Everyone has the right to be a little Zajef. Skirk has a lot of other optimizations you can do that aren't playing Charlotte. I just wanted to make this video because I think it is a consideration. And that's kind of all it is. And you might even consider it a... truth bomb!